There are moments in life that are so quiet, yet it is precisely there that the greatest truths lie hidden. No words, no acknowledgements, but a single small gesture can shake the world, especially the world of YiZhan Nation fans. And this time, the world truly paused for a moment when Wang Yibo showed something that seemed simple, but held deep meaning. A gesture that made everyone wonder, is this finally it? Is this the moment the truth emerges from behind Wang Yibo's silence? Wang Yibo was in the midst of a promotional event. Camera flashes, spotlights, and fan screams filled the air. But amid all that, something happened. A reporter casually mentioned the name Xiao Zhan. Instantly, Yibo's expression changed. His eyes softened, his voice dropped slightly, and it was as if the whole world stopped for a few seconds. He didn't say anything, but his hand moved. A reflexive movement. His fingers touched the bracelet on his left wrist. It was a simple object, but not just any bracelet. Fans quickly recognized it. It was identical to Xiao Zhan's bracelet, one they had seen at a charity event several years ago. And since then, that bracelet had always been a silent symbol among fans. A symbol of a connection that was never spoken of. Was it a coincidence? Maybe. But if you had followed Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan's journey from the beginning, you knew there were no coincidences between them. Wang Yibo isn't the type of man who talks much. He is cold, calm, and almost never lets outsiders break through his personal wall. But behind that expressionless face, fans know, Yibo keeps many things that are never revealed. He prefers to speak through small actions. A glance, a tone of voice, or, as in this case, a gentle touch on a bracelet full of memories. And that's when everything changed. Fans immediately flooded social media with analyses, video comparisons, and even slow-motion breakdowns of the moment. They noticed the way Yibo bowed his head, the way the corners of his lips turned up slightly, and the distant look in his eyes, as if remembering someone. Someone who had long occupied the warmest place in his heart. "Look at how he touched the bracelet," wrote one fan on Weibo. That wasn't a casual gesture. It was a reflex of longing. It was as if the whole world had been waiting for this moment for so long. For years, the relationship between Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan had been a mystery, so real yet never spoken of. Ever since they first appeared together in the Untamed, the chemistry between them felt different. It wasn't just acting. There was something that transcended their roles. The way Yibo looked at Xiao Zhan, gentle but intense, and the way Xiao Zhan looked back, as if the world belonged only to the two of them. They both promised in an interview that true friendship doesn't need to be flaunted. But after Yibo's gesture this time, fans began to believe that maybe what they had wasn't just friendship, but a soul connection. After the bracelet moment went viral, Yibo seemed more cautious. In a subsequent interview, when a host jokingly mentioned Xiao Zhan's name again, Yibo only smiled slightly, but the smile was too real, too sincere to be mere pleasantries. He looked down, took a breath, and said softly, "He's doing well, right?" The words were simple, but the entire fandom immediately exploded. Because in the world of Chinese celebrities, where every word can become a big headline, Yibo had almost never mentioned Xiao Zhan's name directly for years. And when he did so with such a gentle expression, like someone talking about a loved one, not just an old colleague. Fans who have followed their journey know, whenever Yibo and Xiao Zhan are in the same room, the atmosphere changes. There is a kind of calm that envelopes them. The usually stubborn Yibo becomes gentler. The often awkward Xiao Zhan becomes bolder. It's as if they balance each other out without even trying. There is another moment that has gone viral, when Yibo unconsciously imitated Xiao Zhan's laugh. The way he bowed his head, covered his mouth with his hand, and turned his face away, it was exactly the same. Fans combined two videos from different times, and the result was truly amazing. They were like mirrors of each other. That kind of connection cannot be faked. It is not the result of practice or a publicity strategy. It is natural chemistry, something that even the camera cannot hide. The bracelet is no longer just an accessory. It has become a symbol of silence, a symbol of love that does not need to be flaunted. Like a hidden message between two hearts that understand each other. I'm still here. I haven't forgotten you. Yibo, with his quiet and reserved nature, seems to speak through that gesture. He doesn't need words to convey his care, because his actions speak for themselves. Behind all the pressure and rumors, he chooses to remain silent. But it's a meaningful silence. A few weeks after the bracelet moment went viral, Xiao Zhan appeared on a different interview show. When asked about someone who always supports him in silence, his expression softened. He smiled, looked down, and said, "There is someone who doesn't need to say much, but always makes me feel calm." Fans immediately knew who he was referring to, because there was only one person who always supported him in silence, without seeking attention: Wang Yibo. As if they were communicating without words, sending messages through the air that only the two of them understood. One touched the bracelet, one smiled meaningfully, like two puzzle pieces that complemented each other from afar. No one knew for sure, but one thing was clear: their relationship transcended ordinary definitions. Too warm to be called friends, too calm to be called ordinary love. They share something that can't be explained, but can be felt. Something that doesn't need to be flaunted because it's too precious to be shown off. Wang Yibo always looks strong and assertive, but only when Xiao Zhan's name comes up does his soft side show. And Xiao Zhan, known for his politeness and sweetness, only becomes his calmest self when Yibo is near. They are like yin and yang, two different souls that complement each other. Perhaps this is what makes their relationship so special. They don't need to say "I love you" or "I miss you," because every glance, every gesture, and every silence already contains 1,000 meanings. They communicate through a language only they understand, the language of the heart. And for fans who have followed them for years, such small gestures are not trivial. They are silent acknowledgments more beautiful than any words. A gently touched wrist, a gaze full of memories, a smile that appears for no reason. All of that is now part of the long story of Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan. Two names that seem destined to be connected, even as the world continues to change. And perhaps, behind all that silence, they just want to preserve one thing. Something so pure, so fragile, yet so precious. A feeling that doesn't need acknowledgement to be real. There is no definite answer, but perhaps we don't need one. Because sometimes, love doesn't come with grand declarations or sweet words. It comes in the simplest form, in a gaze, in a smile, and in a small touch on the wrist. And in a world full of falsehoods and rumors, small moments like that feel the most real. One thing is certain: behind every silence, there is always a story. And this time, the story belongs to Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, two souls bound by a love that doesn't even need to be spoken.